itself. This deck is a Dimir or black and blue colored deck, so it is multicolored, just those two. And really what the point of the deck is to put your opponent on the clock with a couple of cards in the deck itself. So kind of give them, with the damage that you can do early on or later in the game, it only gives them a few turns to kind of deal with certain threats that you might have. And it also has a fair amount of removal and disruption in the deck itself, so it actually has a little bit of sorry about that, it actually has a little bit of a mill aspect to it as well, which kind of plays into kind of the a few of the cards here. But anyway, let's get going. So we have 2 copies of Merfolk Secret Keeper. It's just a way to get 4 cards into the opponent's graveyard pretty quickly. The reason that we have this, and Overwhelmed Apprentice, which is a 1 mana 1/2 that puts the top 2 cards of an opponent's library into their graveyard, and then you scry 2. The reason that we want to have this, the deck isn't a mill deck. The point of the deck isn't to get your opponent to draw out. But really, the reason that we have this is we want to make sure that their graveyard gets we want to get more than 7 cards in your opponent's graveyard. The reason that we want to have that happen is we have the Vantress Gargoyle here, which is a 2 mana gargoyle flying creature that has 5 power and 4 toughness. If in your by turn 2 or 3, if you can have a flying creature doing 5 damage per turn, you're putting your opponent on the clock. They really have to come up with something quickly to get rid of Vantress Gargoyle. Now you might be thinking, sorry, one moment. So you might be thinking, well, Vantress Gargoyle will then just be a quick target for them for removal. If you only have 1 Vantress Gargoyle out, or even if you have 2, they might have something in their hand to remove both of those, and then kind of where, what's your plan after that? Well, hopefully you'll have an opportunity to play either Drown in the Loch or Thought Erasure. If you can get the Vantress Gargoyle out there, or if you can get a Thought Erasure out first, get rid of any removal they might have, or maybe, if they have any specific powerful cards you want to get rid of, you can really, kind of disrupt their game plan. Or alternatively, if you have a Drown in the Loch, if they have a removal spell that they try to play, you can counter it with Drown in the Loch to help either save your Vantress Gargoyle or any of your other, heavy hitter characters, any of your other heavy hitter cards that you potentially want to keep alive. But anyway, so we have 4 copies of Drown in the Loch and Thought Erasure. Again, these are great, really kind of centerpiece cards in this deck. The Thought Erasure, obviously, the earlier for a 2 mana disruption, sorcery spell. It's really powerful. I mean, it's a great way to kind of disrupt your opponent's game plan. Whatever they might have in their starting hand. If you can get this out on turn 2 and just take away, something from their hand, you could totally disrupt their entire game plan. And then Drown in the Loch, you can choose between either countering a target spell with converted mana cost less than or equal to the number of cards in your controller's graveyard. Again, harkening back to the importance of these 2 cards. Or destroy target creature with converted mana cost less than or equal to the number of cards in your controller's graveyard. Again, why these cards are so important. Vantress Gargoyle also has an ability to tap it to put the top cards of their to have each player put their top cards in their library. So again, you have these 3 cards to really kind of get people's cards in their graveyards. Even potentially these cards can help you do that as well. So you really want to get, if you can get up to 7 or 8 cards in the graveyard pretty quickly, you can really control the game quite early. Next, we have 1 copy of Tyrant Scorn. If you're having trouble getting cards in the graveyard, this is a good card to have just to get some small removal, or just to get a little disruption, to kind of get, an opponent's either creature back in its hand, then they have to take another turn to get it back out or something like that. So, and then we have 4 copies of Murderous Rider. I think, it's just kind of a gimme, rather than using cards like Murder or something like that. You because it's great removal, and then you also get a 2/3 with lifelink. So, 4 copies of this will just help you get some removal, and as well as have another creature that you can put on the board. We have 3 copies of Narset. She's another kind of way to disrupt your opponent, especially if they have a hand or a deck that is heavily, that has a lot of draw power. This kind of shuts that down. Each opponent can only can't draw more than 1 card each turn. So, if they have cards like Winged Words or anything that really has any sort of draw power, Thirst for Meaning, I think, it really kind of shuts those cards down. It makes it kind of pointless for them to have, any draw power cards. You look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a non-creature, non-land card from among them. Put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. That's her -2, so it's another way for you to get, a Tyrant Scorn, Drown in the Loch, or Thought Erasure from your library into your hand, or maybe even Enter the God Eternals. We have 1 copy of God Eternal Kefnet. The Vantress Gargoyles, obviously, are big targets for removal, so hopefully, if your opponent has been taking them out early, it's just nice to have more flying creatures, just to deal with many other flying threats. So, it's just a card that I like. It gets shuffled back. If he dies, you can put it back to the 3rd to the top. If you're in need of creatures. And then whenever you reveal an instant or sorcery card, or his ability is, you may reveal the first card you draw each turn as you draw it. Whenever you reveal an instant or sorcery card this way, copy that card and you may cast that copy. The copy costs 2 less to cast. When God Eternal Kefnet dies, you put it in the, you can put it from the 3rd from the top. It's a good way to automatically cast 2 Thought Erasures, 2 Drown in the Lochs, 2 Tyrant Scorns, or something like that. Next we have Drawn from Dreams. 4 mana. Sorcery that lets you look at the top 7 cards of your library and put 2 of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any random order. So, it's just a great way to get, something that you need in your hand, or at least, 2 cards that you need in your hand. Next we have Jace, Wielder of Mysteries. He's a 4 mana legendary planeswalker. If you would draw a card while your library has no cards in it, you win the game instead. Pretty conditional. But his +1 is target player puts the top 2 cards of their library into their graveyard, so more mill. And then his -8 is draw 7 cards. Then if your library has no cards in it, you win the game. So, again, situational, probably not going to happen, but it could. Next we have a copy of a Cavalier of Gales. It's a 5 mana elemental knight with flying. He's a 5/5. When he enters the battlefield, draw 3 cards, then put 2 cards from your hand on top of your library in any order. When Cavalier of Gales dies, you can shuffle it into your library and scry 2. And then kind of the heaviest hitter in the deck is Lochmere Serpent. He's a 6 mana serpent creature with flash, so you can cast him at instant speed. He's a 7/7, and he has a lot of abilities here. You can sacrifice an island, and he can't be blocked this turn, so you really put your opponent on the clock. You can sacrifice a swamp, if you're in a situation where the game's been going on for a while, you don't really have many options, you don't really have a big hand, and you don't have a lot of draw power left for whatever reason. You can sacrifice a swamp, you gain 1 life and draw a card. And then for an island and for an island and a swamp. Let's see. For an island and a swamp, you can exile 5 target cards from your graveyard, and you can play Lochmere Serpent from your graveyard. You can activate that ability only on your turn. And then lastly, we have Into the Story, which is 7 mana. It costs 3 less to cast if an opponent has 7 more or more cards in their graveyard. Again, hopefully by the time you can cast this, that's true. And you can draw 4 cards, which is just, it's, again, another situation where if you're in need to draw cards, you're running out of options, you can play that. And then we have a pretty basic mana pool here. We have 1 Castle Vantress, although I think I'm about to actually change that to 2 right now. So I'm actually going to take out 1 island. sanctuary. And actually, we're gonna go down to 10 islands, and we'll put in another mystic sanctuary. Or actually, no, we'll stick with I like 11 islands. So, 2 Castle Fortresses, 11 islands, mystic sanctuary, 1 Castle Lochmere, 8 swamps, a watery grave, and fabled passage. I'd like to increase the amount of watery graves and fabled passages that I have in the deck. I just don't have enough wild cards to spend on those right now, but anyway, let's play a match. See how things go. So yeah, I saw this deck on YouTube and a few other places, and it looked really interesting. It looked like a really fun deck to play. So I feel like this is a deck that, you know, it takes... Okay, I do not hate this hand. I would have liked to have had a Thought Erasure instead of a Drown in the Loch, but there we go. Fair amount of removal. We can use that Fabled Passage for... Okay, so they're going full on aggro. So we'll look for like a, I think a Castle Fortress maybe. If we even can. Can we even do that? I guess not. Ideally, I think what we do next is counter a target spell. He's got a shock. So I am gonna counter this spell. I don't think he has enough removal to take out that. And if he does, we have a Drown in the Loch. I don't think we need to use any of this right now. I think that was a good save. We'll save that Drown in the Loch in case he has anything big. But I don't think he does. this goes. Alrighty, there we go. Wasn't much you could do there. So yeah, that's the deck. Yeah, really, and that's it against mono red.